Hey, Book, Gerald Bourget, PHNX Sports. First off, congrats on another gold medal.
Thank you.
I just wanted to get your thoughts. I know that you and Al obviously developed a special relationship during your time here. Just wanted to get your thoughts on his passing and the relationship you were able to build with him over the years.
Yeah, I mean, Al is the historian of this franchise. He was here from day one, and somebody that I grew super close to over time. Somebody that I view as a really good friend of mine, and obviously tough for all of us. But he's embedded in this culture and in this city forever. So it's like losing a family member for a lot of us.
Sorry about that. First, congrats on winning gold. And then second, you wearing the patch, obviously, to get on the jersey. What's that going to mean for you this season to have him basically with you from start to finish?
Yeah, means something to me. Means a lot to me. I heard rumblings of getting Shazam on there. I think that would have been iconic. But yeah, I think it's my job to further communicate to the guys that haven't been here, how important this patch is and how much it means to the city. And we're going to wear it with great honor.
Was when you look at just the roster moves that was made, particularly Tyus, him being a point guard, and you can get back to being off the ball. What's that going to mean for you and for the team as a whole?
I mean, me and Tyus go back to 2014 draft class. So somebody that I've had a close relationship for a long time, and we can say it how it is. We got him for a steal. I remember the news being broke while we were at USA, and all the guys in the locker room was like, "Man, how did y'all get that done?" But something I'm super excited about. Obviously, not only everyone talks about the assist turnover ratio, but he's definitely not someone you can leave open either. So he's just a true ultimate winner, and I'm glad that he's on a stage now where he can show it.
Doug Haller with The Athletic. Are there any lessons from Paris that you can apply to this upcoming season, just with how you guys came together as a team and won?
I mean, yeah, that's the name of the game. The quicker you can find that chemistry, and it took us a little bit out in Paris, and we were tested to the highest degree, but I think our chemistry got us over the hump. We all believed all the way through, even down 13 to start the fourth quarter versus Serbia. We just stuck together. Everybody was obviously not in their normal roles, and we wanted to do other things to help contribute, and that's what we did.
Book, Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports. Good to see you back here.
Good to see you.
With the big three, as they're called, you, Brad, and Kevin, just what do you build on from last year and take into this year that worked, didn't work, and just how much that second year as opposed to the first year of that dynamic is going to help you guys?
Yeah, I think going out in the fashion that we did is something that, you don't want to just blow by and act like it never happened. Something that we have to accept and use as motivation. So I always say experience is the best teacher, and, we have that terrible experience under our belt and use it for motivation from here on out.
Hey, Book. Shane Young with Forbes. Good to see you.
See you.
I'm curious, what's some of the early impressions you've had with Coach Bud? I'm assuming you've probably talked to him quite a bit over the summer.
Yeah. He's a hell of a golfer. We actually got a round in, and he's a competitor. We obviously seen a lot of him in the finals run, and he just wants to win. So, I'm rallying behind him. What he says, that's always been my motto. He wants to lead, and we want to follow.
Doug Franz Unplugged podcast. Book, I know the first two questions were about Al, but I know how much it meant to him when you walked out of the locker room to watch him get inducted into the Ring of Honor. Do you mind opening up about a story of 18, 19-year-old Book talking to Al on a plane or on a bus and how he helped you become a professional?
Oh, yeah, we had plenty of those conversations. And, my question was him, man, what still drives you, man? How are you still on all these flights with us? How are you catching all these games? And just further understanding, the history of of what he's done and, how the game has evolved. And, the only way to hear a basketball game or not even see it was to hear his voice. So that's why I say he's embedded in a lot of the people's lives here, and that's why it feels like a family member. That was the only source of Phoenix Suns basketball, and, to me still is.
Hey, Book. Dana Scott, Arizona Republic. Congratulations on the gold medal.
Thank you.
Two-part question about you entering year 10. Now that you're entering the second half of your career, do you talk with Kevin about how to prepare and basically managing your body in certain ways that players at that age have to do in entering the second half, even though you're very young still? And the second part of that is with having Oso and Ty on the team, there's two Phoenix natives. You called Ty a special talent a couple years ago, and he was at your alma mater, Kentucky. So what's that like having Arizona guys on the team to help impact this, the roster?
The first part of the question, I'd say I'm always a sponge. You'll see, guys all have their different type of ways to stay healthy, and Katie is obviously somebody that, I've watched closely going into, 18 for him, 19. And he's just a hooper. I think his love for the game is what keeps him going. And I've had plenty of guys around. Chris was a guy that, was over obsessive about his body and taking care of his body. So I take bits and pieces from, everybody I'm around and just try to implement it. But, I still do feel really good. I feel I'm reaching those prime type feeling years body-wise. And then on to the next question was about Oso and Ty. Yeah, I think that's that's not a normal situation to, get drafted to your hometown team or be in the market of your hometown team. So, they understand the importance of Phoenix Suns basketball, and, I'm going to do my job to, be a leader and, give them any bits and pieces that I've picked up along the way.
Bob. Hey, Book.
So,
Bob Hune, Associated Press. First of all, going back to Al, one of the coolest pictures, and we talked about this, was with you and Al walking back. Do you remember, which one we talked about?
Mhm.
Do you have that picture? Do you get a copy of that?
I didn't get a copy of it, but, social media makes it just save photo. And it's favorited also.
And what has to happen this year that didn't happen last year? What's the biggest difference this year for you guys to take the next step?
It's hard to narrow it down to one. I think we were trying to figure out and learn throughout, the whole season, including the postseason. So, just come in more prepared, come in more competitive. We just, we have to be on it. It's a tough league. It's a tough conference, and, we understand what we're going against, and, we feel like we have the talent. We feel like we have the coaching staff. We feel like we have, all the pieces to get to where we're trying to go.
Hey, Devin. Luis Torres here with Nice Kicks. After, a full season with the Book One, a lot of fun colorways, a little PE going on right now. What can we expect this upcoming season? And Book Two in the works? What's that looking like?
Yeah. Book Two is definitely in the works, but a lot of more Book Ones this year. And I'm just going to continue to try to tell my story, man. I think, I've kept it consistent with every colorway that drops is, either been Phoenix inspired or Arizona inspired or, some type of story from my past. And, a lot of the Book Ones, especially with the PEs, have been colorways that you've seen before from the past. And that's just me paying homage, understanding, sneakers were super important to me growing up and definitely still are now. So paying homage to those colorways, those silhouettes that, have shaped the game and changed the sneaker culture forever.
Last one at the book, Annie.
Devin, Annie Myers, Drysdale Suns broadcast.
Where you at, Annie? There you go.
Can you talk a little bit about, the relationships, talk about Kevin, and congratulations on the Olympics too, but
Thank you.
being that with Diana Taurasi and the relationship that you've had with her 20 years and what she has done and impacted you in the game.
Yeah, since day one, Diana has the energy and the spirit, like she's ready to play tomorrow. So, they say she's retiring. I don't know. I hope not. because that has definitely been a staple for me, throughout my whole career here is, just even the short conversations of passing in the locker rooms or passing in the weight rooms. And, obviously, like I said, being a historian of the game, understanding that she's paved the way for this whole next generation that's coming up. And, she set the bar so high that, they probably won't be able to reach.
All right. Questions for KD?
Hey, Kev, Joe Bourget, PHNX Sports down here. Congrats on the gold medal.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. Congrats on the gold medal. I was just curious, from your conversations with Mike Budenholzer, how have those gone, and what do you kind of anticipate when you look forward to this season in terms of how you guys want to play?
Coach just getting to know each one of his players individually as people first, and once we all get on the court starting tomorrow, we kind of get a feel for each other on the floor. But Bud and the staff has been really cool at just trying to get to know one another. I mean, it's kind of hard to figure out your identity as a team throughout the summer when you first get a job and finding your staff and trying to understand the players on your team. So these last 2 weeks of us getting some pickup games in, being around each other, was key for us. And we got to understand one another, understand the coaching staff and what they want from us, and hopefully, now we can move forward with training camp and preseason games and kind of build out who we are.
Yes, Kevin, Dwayne Rankin, Arizona Republic. First, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Second, I'm curious when you look at the season in terms of what you guys brought in the offseason. Tyus, Monte, Plumlee. How do you like those fits with the group? It's basically, essentially, pretty much all from last year. And then, two, just how do you even approach when you may be up for an extension? How do you even do it mentally? Do you even just say, I'm going to go play and whatever happens? How do you process all that?
Your first question is always good adding players to your team that are veterans with high IQ that can actually still provide good minutes for you. Tyus, Monte, Mason, we got a couple other guys, the rookies, guys, Oso, Ryan, Jalen. We got guys that can come in and that can still provide us a good spark that are different, got different skill sets. So looking forward to building with them. As far as extension, I'm 2 years out I got 2 years left on my contract. I'm focused on being the best that I can every day in the moment, and we'll figure that stuff out when it's time.
Katie, Richard Sines, Fox 10, good to see you again. Congrats on the gold.
Thank you.
You talked about, some of the new additions. Matt talked about some of these guys took less money, could have got more money somewhere else. What does that say about the culture that you guys have kind of established here and about the individual person that's putting winning first?
Yeah, you got to give those guys the most credit for seeing past money and wanting to be in a situation where they can help build towards something special. Credit to the front office and the staff for letting those guys know who we are, even though we didn't finish the season the way we wanted to. When you have a good front office and a good culture, you can still speak to guys regardless of that, and that's what they did throughout the summer. And also the city of Phoenix helped us out as well. So many players love coming here, love playing here, love being here. So that helps us out as well. So having new additions to the team is a plus, and now we're looking forward to seeing how it works on the floor.
Kevin, how do you envision Tyus contributing to the chemistry amongst you, Booker, and Beal?
Just another veteran presence that been around great players throughout his career. Played in different roles where he was coming off the bench, had to fill in for guys that were injured, got traded to a Washington team where he had to assume the starting role. So he's been in different situations, and so a guy who's seen a lot in this league is always good. And so being around the last 2 weeks, seeing this game, being able to figure out how I can help as well has been fun. So I'm looking forward to practice.
Mark McClune, Arizona's Family Sports, good to see you. I wonder if you could describe the feeling of standing up on the podium winning gold this summer, and if that feeling at all, did that reinforce anything of getting back to the grind here and chasing the championship in the NBA?
No, I wouldn't say it reinforced anything. It's always good to win and feel winning and understand what goes into it, how much of a grind it is. Even though that was a condensed period, it's just a month. We crammed a lot of stuff in for that month, so it was good on the brain to understand what it takes every day to become a winner. Sometimes you can go through the motions a bit throughout your career when you haven't been on that podium sometimes. So it's good to refresh the brain a bit. But that's always the goal when you've been in this league so long and you have experience winning and being on top that, regardless of what happened last season, that's still always the goal. But being around some of the best players in the world of all time, and then some of the best athletes throughout the whole world and representing in my country was, it was unmatched. So I had a great time.
Kevin, Doug Haller with The Athletic. You mentioned how things finished last year. When things don't go the way you like and you get swept, does that stick with you throughout an off season, motivate you? I mean, is it always there, or do you move past it pretty quickly?
Yeah, I mean, you tend to move past it. I mean, it's a long summer, man. We lose in April. I'm not gonna be thinking about it in June, July. You figure out you understand what went into the season and why the outcome was the outcome, and move on from there. Have it on that takes, to be honest. So I try to figure that out pretty quickly and seeing how I can add to, making things different and go from there.
Kevin, Luis Torres with Nice Kicks. Obviously, things got a little tense between you and Nike with the whole winning isn't for everyone campaign, and then, am I a bad person? No, you're the baddest. Have you guys talked? How's everything? KD 18 coming up. How's that looking?
Yeah, everything's on schedule, just like it always is. Sometimes you have conversations like that amongst family and move on.
Kevin, Dana Scott, Arizona Republic, congratulations on the gold medal.
Oh, my bad. Thank you.
Two-part questions. Thinking about how you had some rotation in the lineups in last season where you played sometimes with the second unit, how do you feel that if Grayson being possibly moved to the second unit and Bowl coming back, how they can impact the team together? And also the second part of that is you grew up in the D.C. area, and Dikembe Mutombo just died this morning. So growing up around that Georgetown second wave of paranoia, you very young, you probably remember Iverson Moore, but what would you say about that Georgetown team in that area and what it did for the city?
Yeah, rest in peace to Dikembe. Mutombo was a iconic figure in the basketball world as I was growing up. Like you mentioned, playing in Washington, D.C., Georgetown area, a lot of those big men have left a mark on basketball in that area, dating back to late 80s, early 90s. And Dikembe was one of those guys. And then have an opportunity to play against him in the NBA and meet him in different events and just see the type of person he was. It reinforced that our great people walking around here every day, regardless of status, regardless of how successful you are, he still remained true to who he was as a person. And I appreciated that every time I seen him. My condolences out to his family, friends, everybody that knew him. That's a huge loss. If you ever met Dikembe, he just brightened up the whole room. So, and I wasn't even that tight with him, and, so I'm sure so many people going through a lot of emotions right now. So he meant so much to the game, and rest in peace.
Annie, last one.
Kevin, congratulations on your 4th Olympic
Thank you.
medal and leading the USA in scoring. But, you were there for more than half of Diana Taurasi's 6 times at the Olympics. And talk about the impact she had on you as an Olympian and then her work ethic here in Phoenix.
Yeah, DT has done so much for basketball as a whole. I remember her as a high school, middle school player, her setting an example for basketball in the women's game, introducing some people to the women's game when she was coming out of UConn, and to be with one franchise her whole career and reach the pinnacle and all-time leading scorer. Did she play 20 years in the league? 20 years, championships, gold medals, done it all. Still DT that I met 15 years ago. So I appreciate what she's brought to the game of basketball, this area in Phoenix and the whole Arizona. And I think she still got some time left. I think she got a couple more years to play. but we'll see. Even if she doesn't, she can walk away with her head held high for what she's done to the game.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll have Bradley Beal up right now.
Gay, PHNX Sports, good to see you, and congrats on the Beal Center over the summer.
Thank you.
I just wanted to get your thoughts, because I know last year you had to wear a number of hats for the Suns, take on point guard roles, primary defensive roles. I'm just curious, now that you guys have more traditional point guards, what do you kind of envision your role looking like this season as opposed to last?
I can definitely go back to being the Brad we all have hoped. But I'm excited for it for sure. I mean, still gonna have some ball handling responsibilities, but obviously not being the focal primary point guard, which helps all of us. It's helped me, helps Book, helps Kay, helps Grayson, helps all of us, because now we can go back to being our traditional roles and we can flourish in, what we've done well and got us to this point in our careers.
Brad Dwayne Rankin, Arizona Republic. Good to
D, what's
see
up,
you.
baby?
Yes, sir. Wanted to ask about the three-guard look, and there were times last year you were guarding Zion, you were guarding much bigger guys. When I'm thinking three-guard, that could be more of a possibility again. So how do you feel about that lineup on the defensive end?
I mean, we all still got a guard. That's still a focal point of our team coming into the year. It's definitely high on our priority list, and we understand that that's still something that we need to do at a high level in order to be a championship caliber team. So I'm still willing to take on those challenges. I've lost a little weight, so I'm not as probably big as guarding Zion. But if that's what the mission calls for, I'm always signing up for it.
Brad, Kellen Olson, Arizona Sports back here. Good to see you, man.
How you doing, brother?
When you look at last year and the stretches that you had, you were starting to put some things together, and then the injuries just kept coming up. How nice was a reset this summer for you to kind of look at all the positives you were able to take from that? Because I know last year was extremely frustrating for you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel ecstatic right now. I'm super excited. Like you said, just to be able to, for me, have a good summer, just to be able to mentally clear last year. Like you said, it was a whirlwind, new environment, trying to fit in, get hurt, trying to fit in still, get hurt again, still trying to fit in. So it's like I never really got off to a good start. Now I get to do that, so everybody's acclimated with each other, so we're past that phase. And now we can just hit the ground running. We have a good coach, a good new system, and there's a new energy, so it's good for everybody.
Hey, Brad, Jordan Spurgeon, Sports 360 AZ. Doubling down on that too, obviously last year, the ups, the downs, all of it. What do you think you learned about yourself, if you've had time to reflect on that this summer, maybe how you changed or how you just navigated that whole situation?
The biggest thing is I kind of challenged myself, right? Like this summer, I evaluate the year like you always do. One thing I didn't do, and it's my main focus and goal this year, is have fun. Have fun, right? The whole year, like Kay just said, like I'm frustrated. You're trying to play catch up. You're trying to, prove that you want to be on the team, prove that you want to be on the floor, and you just never can really get 2 feet on the ground. So now it's me. I have those 2 feet on the ground. I have no excuses. I'm very healthy going into a year on an unbelievable team. Enjoy that, Enjoy being where I am. Enjoy this unbelievable situation I'm in, the opportunity we have at stake, and just enjoy it, man. Just have fun with it.
Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. Good to see you. Like they mentioned earlier, you had to do a lot of different stuff last year. Do you have a clearer sense of what your role is this year? And are you willing to do anything the team might ask you should the need arise?
100%. It still remains the same. I'm always going to be that player of team first. What do we need to do to win? That's always priority number one. I'm blessed now and happy that we're built in a way to where I don't have to take on a lot of those roles that I did last year. And I can just focus on being Brad. Like I can be aggressive. I can look to score. I can just be who you guys know me to be. But I'm still going to be, having to probably play make sometimes, maybe in the second group, whatever the lineup may look like. There's still going to be times in which I may have to do things that I'm not accustomed to doing or whatever, but we're all going to be put in those positions. So we got a good, environment, I guess, a good feel of it last year. So I think we can know what to expect moving forward, but it's good to know that we don't have to start off in that position like we did last year.
sports. Thank you. Sports, man, is such a big business. You sometimes wonder, are guys having fun?
Yep.
What does that look like for you specifically?
Oh man, like it's obviously playing with passion, right? It's playing with passion, but then just being in the moment, right? Being joyful, seeing a smile. Like a lot of times people mistake, smile and being, serious, but it's a game, right? We have the best job in the world, and I feel like all athletes, we have the best job in the world. Like we get to do something we've been doing since we were kids, and now we get compensated for it. And I think the compensation part, obviously, we get stuck in the business aspect of it, and we become super goal driven, and we want to do this. And those are all great things, but that's not what you played when you were 6. That's not what you played when you were 7. What drove you up to the point of where you are now? So it's kind of getting back to those roots a little bit, and finding another level of motivation to keep going. Yeah.
Dan Scott, Arizona Republic. How do you feel is impactful for having a guy like Bull coming back and playing that role, even though he didn't play much in the playoffs last season, and also Grayson if he's possibly moved to the second unit?
I think it speaks volumes. It speaks on the trust that Josh and James have in him, and then the development that Bud, could see in him as well. And Bo did tremendous things for us. We all seen it. His ability to be able to space the floor, impact rebounding, impact, alter shots at the rim, but also put it on the floor and be versatile, really helped us. His size and his ability at the rim, nobody else has that. So we thrived in those situations. We want to continue to encourage him. He's gotten, light years better in the summer. He's gotten a lot stronger. So I'm excited for what he can do. And obviously Grayson, it doesn't matter if Grayson's a starter. If he's coming in, he's going to be Grayson at all times, and we need him to do that. And I'm sure he'll adjust well no matter what the lineup may be.
Hey, Brad. Shane Young, Forbes. Seems like a common theme from Bud and James earlier was getting up a lot more threes this year.
Mm-hmm.
Just wondering, how prepared are you, Devin and Kevin, as the leaders to take the onus and take more of those threes, considering you're mid-range heavy guys?
Well, we don't have a choice. So, Coach Bud pulled me in his office the other day and showed me like 5 or 6 clips of me literally passing up threes and like driving into defenses and turning the ball over, driving into defenses and, shooting a long 2 and it's like just shoot the 3, and it's, it's going to be tough because Kay and Book, they are 60, 70% shooters, from the 2. So we're going to continue to live with a lot of those, but when you see the championship teams, they are first, second, third in attempts and makes and percentage. So, in order for us to be in that race, we gotta start shooting them.
Last one for Brad.
Hey Bradley, Hayden Silva, Clutch Points. Nice to meet you, sir.
Hi, man.
With the signings of Tyus and Monte, you got 2 guys that can really handle the ball well, run the offense. For you, just as a natural scorer, how does it make you feel knowing that you've got 2 guys that are looking to get you the ball at all times?
Man, I'm all smiles, just cheesing. I'm just kidding. No, it's exciting though, man. I get to be a 2 guard, get to be a combo guard, which is what I was for 12 years of my career, and continue to thrive in that role, man. And I'm just super excited with the team we have. Granted, having Tyus and Monte, helps everybody. It doesn't just help me, So I'm excited that I get to, be Brad. That's all.
Thanks, Brad.
We all silly like the mayor.